Misunderstandings happen every day, and that's what this episode is all about. We are going through misread messages, emails, and even emojis. So, welcome back to She's Probably Talking to Other Guys. I'm your host, Annie, and I'm so excited, as always, that you're here. Today is episode 11, and the name of the episode is Text, Dates, and Misunderstandings. We're going to dive into some common misunderstandings. We're going to talk some emojis because I am a big emoji girl. And then we're also just going to clear up, well, maybe not clear up, but go through some common assumptions that tend to happen via text or via email, and they mess with our head more than they should. Before we get into that, let's do a quick recap of last week. Last week was profiles, promises, and red flags. We went through some common assumptions that tend to be popular when it comes to dating apps. Some of my friends who have been lucky in love on dating apps shared their thoughts, and then I shared them with you. So if you have not tuned in yet, or maybe if you're thinking about using a dating app, give that episode a listen. Just a friendly reminder, I am not a therapist, psychologist, or expert in human behavior. Everything shared here is based on personal experience, opinions, and a lot of conversations over coffee with friends. If you're struggling with something deeper, I always recommend seeking professional help in chatting with a licensed professional. This is a judgment free, assumption checking zone, so take what resonates with you and leave the rest. First up, we are going to tackle texting and communication as a whole. Overall, I don't think it's any secret or any shock whatsoever. I mean, maybe, but I don't think so, that it can be very easy to misinterpret the tone or what someone is trying to say via text. I love texting personally. I love being able to send a quick message, whether it is personal, business related. I like being able to just send something really quick and get an answer. That's personally why I love texting. Also, I have friends who don't live very close to me, which means we don't get to hang out as often. So, texting is one of our forms of staying in touch. Even though I mentioned in a previous episode that my bestie is possibly one of the worst texters in the world. Again, we're going to be playing a little bit of devil's advocate because at the end of the day, I mean, you need to take your own personal situation and determine what's actually going on. But these are just some different ideas that came up with assumptions related to texting. So I was actually shocked by this one. I didn't know that there was overthinking involved when it came to punctuation in text messages, specifically periods. I feel like I use periods when I've finished a sentence. I can't say that I've ever really used periods in the sense where an assumption is that someone's yelling at you. But apparently that's a common assumption, is that the use of periods implies that you're being very serious or apparently yelling. I did not know this. Sometimes I will do like a few periods in a row. In my mind, it's that like I'm waiting for a response or like about a topic that I texted about, or it's that I'm thinking about something. I feel like so if I use a few periods in a row, it's more of kind of like a hesitation, or I just use it at the end of a sentence for a period. So the different assumptions is one, it's just grammar. And then the other one, apparently, it's that someone's yelling at you. I had no idea. Here's what I mentioned before when you do the repetitive periods. Apparently, there's an assumption that people are being ominous when they're messaging versus the assumption that someone just types like that. I fall into the category of I just type like that. I am not being ominous whatsoever. Maybe other people use it as kind of like a dramatic announcement to something. I'm not sure. Ooh, the next one I feel like is very common, especially since I did a recent update, I have to admit. I have an Apple iPhone, and for anyone that I was texting who did not have an Apple, I never saw the little dots when they were typing before. But since I did an update, I see the little text bubbles for everyone, regardless of what phone they have. So, typing bubbles disappearing. I have definitely fallen for this before, I have to admit, because I see the typing bubbles appear and then I'm like, ooh, yay, they're actually on their phone responding. And then either the bubbles stay there forever, um, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, what are they saying? Why are these bubbles here forever? Or uh, when the person keeps typing and backspacing, and then you see the bubble again, and then the bubble goes away, and then it's this back and forth with the bubble, then I think, oh my gosh, now I'm in trouble. So I think when the typing bubble is there for a really long time, my assumption is, wow, what are they saying? They have a lot to say. Oh my goodness. And when they're there, then they disappear, and then they're there, then they disappear. Then I start to be like, oh my gosh, what are they going to say to me? Again, depending on the person. Voice notes. I have to admit that I have been relatively new to voice notes. And by new, I feel like maybe I've used them within the past like year or two. I never really used them before that. So, one assumption is that they're cute and thoughtful. The other one, apparently, people have their own like mini TED Talks or like their own little mini venting sessions with them. I guess would be the other assumption. So when people see a voice note appear, the thought is, oh, how cute, or oh, what are they about to say? When do I use a voice note? I'm trying to think. I feel like I would use a voice note more if I was trying to tell my best friend about something that happened because it was too long for me to want to text everything. I would say that that's when I use the voice notes. I will admit that I do not really care to use the feature where you talk and then it texts or types out what you said because there are so many typos. And I don't know, maybe it's just my voice and I'm not, enunciating properly. So apparently there's a lot of assumptions when a voice note appears in your text messages. Read receipts. Are they on or are they off? So one assumption is that someone wants transparency. The other assumption is that someone's hiding something. I've never really thought about it. Naturally, I just have never had my text on read. I don't like it. I don't know why. I don't think I ever really thought about it. I just naturally tend to turn that off. I just don't like having that there. I'm not sure. I do notice some people that have them, but I couldn't say that a lot of the people that I talk to um actually have their read receipts on or not. It's just a personal preference that I just leave them off. I've never thought about it and it's definitely not for either of those assumptions. But I guess that some people feel that way about it if it's popular enough that it came up when I was browsing the internet about it. So I don't know, comment. Do you have your read receipts on or off? And if you want to share why, share why. Before we move on to the next category of dating, I'm going to touch on emojis for a second. I mentioned before that I am a big emoji person. I love using emojis. I think that they're super cute and I love using them. I think the most common emojis in my phone are the eye roll for sure, the little hands that make the heart symbol. I love the pink heart with the little sparkle on it, the little golden sparkle. I love the sparkles overall, I tend to also use the melting smiley face because I think it's adorable. I also like the upside down smiley face. I'm trying to think of what else I send. Oh, I send the one where it's like covers its face, but just has like the one little eye sticking out. I send the girl who's got her hands like up at her sides, like, what? When I'm texting, if I put like the melty smiley face, I just think the melty smiley face is a really cute emoji. The same with the upside down smiley face. I just think that it's really cute. I'm not really using it in necessarily like a specific way. I just think they're really cute little emojis. I don't know. I have grown to really like those. I don't genuinely use probably the regular smiley face actually because I don't think it's really adorable. Like, I get that it's the point that it's smiling, but like the one with the teeth showing, I don't really care for that one. Like the smiling one with the teeth showing. I don't really like those ones. I don't know, they're not cute to me. The eye roll is usually because I am literally rolling my eyes or I'm being very sarcastic about something. But I also, again, I don't know. I just feel like I relate with the feelings of the eye roll emoji. So I like that little one. The hearts, I just love hearts, which brings me to an example from my past. I'm using the eye roll emoji right now. Someone once said to me, and I am like still like dumbfounded to this day. When I was in high school and I was commenting hearts and things, like the little emojis on my friends' pictures and things like that, someone literally said to me once that that meant that I was interested romantically in every single person that I put a heart emoji on or like some kind of emoji on. Um, and this person literally like accused me of wanting to sleep with everyone that I put a little emoji on. And I was just like, what planet do you live on that emojis on pictures would mean that? My eyes are like bulging out of my head right now as I talk about this. I was literally shocked. I was like dumbfounded over this statement or accusation, whatever you want to call it. But like, seriously, they're emojis, first of all. Like, let's not take it serious. They're emojis. Second of all, what? No, like, absolutely not. They're my friends, and I'm putting little heart emojis on their pictures and things. Needless to say, that person has been blocked for a very long time now. But yeah, I was just like so confused and so taken aback by that. I was like, what in the world? So, side note, I do not take emojis seriously whatsoever. I think they're fun. I think they're cute. I think they're adorable. I love to use them. Big emoji girl right here. So, don't take my emojis seriously. And I don't know why. I don't know. Personally, again, to each their own. Personally, I do not take emojis seriously, like at all. Yes, every now and then I will send the middle finger emoji to my friends because I think it's funny, okay? Right? I will send that one every now and then. I don't use it enough that it's in my recently used ones though. But again, like I do not take emojis seriously at all. Like at all. So yeah, I was just like so confused by that statement from a long time ago in my past. But talking about emojis reminded me of that interesting comment. Moving on to dating. Some common assumptions that come from misunderstandings in messages or maybe something that someone said to you is the phrase, "we'll see." That can be seen and assumed that it's just a polite brush off. So they're not really interested. They're just trying to politely brush you off. Or it could be a genuine maybe. And again, this is something where in episode 1, we talked about the word clarity and just clarifying things. Everything we're about to talk about right now in this section has to just do with clarifying what the person actually meant. But for fun, we're just going to go through them. So, another assumption with phrases for dating is the phrase, I had fun. That can be seen as, let's do this again. But it's also commonly seen as, maybe that was not so great, that was terrible, and that was their way of saying goodbye. So, that phrase has its own assumptions about it in a negative light as well. Just the genuine action of not texting someone good night. And this goes from either person, regardless of who it is. So the common assumptions are, on one end, it's that they're not interested anymore or that they're talking to someone else, even. The other assumption is that they fell asleep. I am constantly falling asleep watching TV. I also sometimes, if I'm having a hard time sleeping, I put a meditation on. Side note, not that that has anything to do with not texting someone goodnight, but that literally just popped into my head. She's probably talking to other guys. I just fell asleep to my guided meditation, actually. The what are we talk. I think that that one is actually a form of clarity in a sense, trying to figure out if you're actually dating this person or if you're just talking to them, or maybe they just want to know like what in the world is going on. So it's genuine curiosity because somebody wants to know. I mean, I agree, it would be nice to know what's going on. Or apparently, there's an assumption that it's a hidden ultimatum. I guess if someone's saying, what are we? Maybe they just want to clear it up so they know what the next move is. Personally, I wouldn't say ultimatum, but again, that's because it's coming from me and I'm someone who likes things very clear and easy to understand. I was just talking with someone and I told her, like, honestly, I have no idea if someone's flirting with me. Like, I have zero idea. So I'm someone who just wants like a simple, clear answer as to what in the world is going on. The what are we talk, I actually see that in a positive light along the lines of, is this going to become something, just kind of wanting to define it in a way. The next one is the action of liking an ex's photo. One assumption is they're still in love with this person. Another assumption is it was just an accidental tap. And then another assumption is that they're just friends with them. A lot of people feel differently about this. Again, I think that being someone who's in social media a lot of my life, I tend to be very lax on liking pictures of people. That's just me. Because I know at the end of the day, I have no ulterior motive when I'm posting pictures and then my friends like them. I think that that is where I'm coming from it. Like, I am genuinely just posting this because I'm posting it and it's what I wanted to post. My thought on this, I think, is not necessarily a common thought on it. I don't really see this as anything that would bother me. And again, I think that's more of an uncommon point of view, to my understanding anyway, from when, my best friend was talking about stuff like this. I'm aware that it bothers some people. I'm not someone who's bothered by it though. So for any of these assumptions, again, depending on the situation, they are completely valid. I'm sure that people are out there liking their ex's photos because they are still interested. I'm sure there are people who are accidentally tapping things, whether they were looking to be nosy or whatever it may be. Maybe they still follow them. Again, maybe they're friends, like in some of my situations. So yeah. That I feel like could be an entire episode on its own. The next one is slow replies. We've talked about this in a few episodes at this point. So, slow replies, one of the assumptions is someone's cheating on you. That is like a very serious assumption, by the way. The opposite of that is maybe they're just at the gym and they're not responding right away. We've talked in previous episodes that slow replies are literally all down to the individual person, what they're doing, what time did you text them, are they at work, and at work they're somewhere where phones aren't allowed, something along the lines, are you just friends with somebody or dating someone who's literally just really bad at texting, you know? Again, I use the example, I taught ballroom dance lessons and I felt very strongly that I would not use my phone. I wouldn't use my phone on someone else's time to reply to my personal messages. So people would go hours when I was teaching back to back and they wouldn't hear from me. And that was just how it is, you know? So I feel like it all depends on the individual person. Let's go into the topic of friendships. The action of not tagging someone in a story or a post, I suppose we could elaborate on as well. So, this is leading to the assumptions that someone forgot you, and that could be by accident, just truly by accident. They forgot to tag you. For me, sometimes I don't remember what some people's handles are, to be honest. Especially if the handle is not close to someone's name whatsoever. Sometimes I just forget the handle. The other assumption is someone's throwing shade by not tagging you. I can't say that I have a personal thought on this one. Short responses. The assumption is they're mad at you, or maybe they're just multitasking. I'm a big multitasker, by the way. Sometimes I just text because I just want a quick answer. And sometimes it's just like a yes or no. And I do that sometimes too when I'm in the middle of something. I just send a really quick answer. And then sometimes, depending on what the conversation was, if the person doesn't respond after that, I maybe will send like a little follow up, like, oh, I'm so sorry, I was in the middle of something, but I just wanted to give you a quick answer. Something along those lines, just to clarify that word again. But I can understand that sometimes it could come across as mad from someone who's sending a text. Canceling plans. When it comes to the assumptions related to canceling plans, sometimes they're personal. Sometimes the person is canceling because they just really don't want to go. Sometimes they're canceling because they're not crazy about who's going to be there. The other assumption is exhaustion. And I can relate to that one. Sometimes I just don't want to go because I'm so burnt out from whatever has been going on lately that I really just want to hang or chill and I don't want to get dressed up and go somewhere. Also, being in environments where people are having families now and they're just starting families now, I know that people are canceling now because, yeah, they are literally exhausted from their newborn baby. And that is completely valid. Again, so I think that you need to understand the situation and don't take it personal if someone's going through something like that and they're canceling plans, you know? And I think I get that it can be hard to not take it personal sometimes. One thing that I can relate to this is someone recently had to reschedule something with me, and I appreciated that they wanted to reschedule immediately because for me, I was like, "Oh, okay, something just came up. We need to just move it around and then we're good to go." So, again, I think that sometimes like to help someone understand what's going on and clarity, that word again, if you're canceling, maybe immediately just say, let's talk about this and pick a date, for the future. So then no one really has time to take it personal or wonder what's going on. Let's talk about late birthday texts. Personally, I am not offended whatsoever by late birthday wishes, late birthday texts, anything like that. People love their birthdays, and you should. It's a celebration of you. But for me, I'm not really bothered if people don't wish me happy birthday because I'm also not really like putting it out into the world that it is my birthday. That's just me personally. Um, the only thing I'm grateful for Facebook, I'm not really a Facebook person, but I do love that they remind me of people's birthdays because for people who are close to me, they know that one, I don't always really know what the date is. Like, I know what the date of today is because I had a meeting scheduled for today that was important. But I don't always know what day it is. So for me to know everyone's birthday, it's a long shot. I completely missed someone's birthday a few months ago, and I was with one of my best friends, and she wanted to look someone up on Facebook. And when we looked this person up, I realized that I missed their birthday like 5 days before that. So I was like, pause. You cannot look at this profile until I text them happy belated birthday because I completely missed it, right? So I'm just in general really bad with remembering the dates of birthdays. I'm sorry if I've made anyone sad from missing your birthday. My apologies. Apparently, the assumptions related to this are that they're fake friends because they don't remember your birthday. The other assumption is that there's just confusion on what day it is, what's going on, which I feel like I relate and I fall into that one. Also, I feel like people in general in my life just tend to miss the day of my birthday anyway. And they sometimes, like, my family will call me and they'll leave me voicemails, and it's literally the completely wrong day and it's not my birthday. But I think it's really cute that they like sang to me and sent me a message or tried to call me. So I just don't say anything because I just think it was really sweet and it's the thought that counts. So that's where I stand on birthdays. Although I will put this out there for any of my friends listening, I have always really wanted a surprise party. I'm just going to drop that here if any of you are listening. Let's add the idea of the little melting smiley emoji when I just said that, by the way. Let's tackle inside jokes for a second. I don't know how many inside jokes I currently have going with anyone. I think I don't know that I'd consider it an inside joke. I may have mentioned this before. My best friend and we have code names for people that we discuss. They're mostly like dudes that we discuss. Um, in good fun. We're not talking ish about them. We just make code names. So if anyone was to ever read our messages, that person would have no idea what we're talking about. That was our ultimate goal. I don't know, maybe you think we're weird for saying that, but I was telling one of my friends about this the other day, and he doesn't know that we ended up giving him a code name just for fun because we just felt like he knew about it because I told him, and then I was like, oh, I think he needs a code name now, so he got one. For inside jokes, I could definitely see the side where people feel excluded from them, especially maybe if you're talking about something in a group setting and not everyone in the group is in on the inside joke. I could definitely see how someone would feel excluded by that and feel bad. So that's one side of the assumption is exclusion. The other side of it is that when you have inside jokes, you're bonding with people. So if you're included in the inside joke, or maybe even if you're seeing it from the outside and you're not offended, you see that these people are bonding over some kind of inside joke. I mean, hopefully it's a nice one and they're not making fun of someone. That would be the hope, right? Again, inside jokes can be a little iffy. The last one for friendships is a miss you text. So you say, miss you. Generally, when I say that, I genuinely miss the person I'm saying it to. I will admit, one time someone from my past completely caught me off guard and sent me a miss you text, and I had no idea what to say because I did not miss this person. I don't even know the last time I thought about them. I don't know what emoji face I'm making right now. And there's an assumption where the miss you is genuine, and then there's an assumption where the miss you is an ulterior motive or they're just saying something to kind of like fill the conversation up. Naturally, I tend to find that a little suspicious. Genuinely, I'm constantly texting my best friend that I miss her because I do. I really do. I think a miss you text can definitely be taken either way. I mean, I hope that it's genuine. I hope that your friends genuinely miss you. We're going to move briefly into career and work. This is not advice whatsoever, so please don't take this and like go to your boss with any responses I'm about to give you right now. My boss is pretty cool. It's me. So I have to do something really bad to get mad at myself to get in trouble with my own boss. All right. The phrase let's touch base. So some people have assumed that this is a collaboration. So they are going to touch base. You are going to get together and you're going to work on something together. The other assumption is that someone's going to get fired. I don't know that I would have ever assumed that that would be a response to let's touch base. But apparently it's a popular assumption for the phrase let's touch base. I don't know if I've ever said that. I can't think if I've ever said that phrase. Oh, the phrase we're like family here. I've heard this a lot. I feel like I was definitely watching a TV show. It was like a sitcom where they totally made fun of this phrase all the time, and now I can't remember what it was. One assumption is we value you. It truly is a family. You're working together. You all know each other. It's tight knit. Versus the assumption is we underpay you. That took a turn for sure from the other assumption. Those are polar opposites. Personally, at the end of the day, it's a business. And when people use the phrase, we're like family here, it can be touchy for sure. I don't know that I want to say too much more on that, but I think depending on where you are and who you're surrounded by, that phrase can very easily mean completely different things. I'll do a separate episode on different work assumptions. We're going to leave career and work there. For now, we are going to move into everyday life assumptions in regards to misunderstandings, emojis, things like that. Sarcasm. I use sarcasm. I do. I think it's funny. So the assumption is it's a joke. The other assumption is it's an insult. I think depending on who you're talking to, I think culturally it can also be something as well that maybe some cultures just like aren't using sarcasm. I've been told before, and I have no like factual evidence on this whatsoever. I've been told that sarcasm is an American thing. I don't know. I am sarcastic. My closest people around me know that. I shared someone's post in my stories. And again, I don't know if this is factually true or not, but it was something about like studies suggest that people who poke fun at their friends or like lightheartedly roast their friends, um, have better friendships or have more fun friendships than others. Again, that's not exactly what it said, and I don't know if that's true or not. Um, but that's my kind of friendship. I'm gonna poke fun at you, you're gonna poke fun at me, and it's all in good fun. All right. Dry humor. The assumption is it's funny. The opposite assumption is it's rude. I'm a fan of The Office. I will say that for sure. I think it's really funny. I know, again, that kind of humor can go either way, so I could see how some people would find it rude. At the end of the day, again, I'm someone who has a sense of humor. I have watched Family Guy. I have watched other like adult cartoons. I like funny movies. A little bit about me, I will totally watch Pineapple Express. I will watch Bridesmaids. I will watch The Hangover. I love funny movies and I love funny TV shows. So I'm not someone where if you make like a funny joke or you're sarcastic to me, where I'm going to take it personally. I have a wild sense of humor. It's fun. I'm a good time, I think. This one, someone looking at their phone. So one assumption is someone's ignoring you. Another assumption is someone's checking the time. I think for me personally, in reality, I'm probably working. I'm probably responding to someone. or I thought of something and I need to write it down before I forget. That's kind of where I land on that. I'm not ignoring you. I'm probably not checking the time. Unless it's like 11:11 and it's time for some manifesting. Some people probably aren't paying attention to you whatsoever, and that's rude. But we live in a world where people are on their phones constantly, and depending on who it is, I could see how you could get offended by it. To each their own. This one I find interesting that it's on here, that it's popular enough to be on here. So, neighbors waving. Some people see it as friendly. The other assumption is that they're being nosy. I think that's funny. I'm also the person though where if you wave at me, I'm probably gonna like look behind me and make sure that there isn't anyone back there and that you are actually waving at me. That's just me. I don't know why. Or I'll look at you and be like, "Me? Are you waving at me?" Something like that. But I could see, I suppose, depending on where you're living, if your neighbors are just genuinely saying hi to you or if they're being nosy and kind of checking out what's going on. I think in the opposite sense, there can be assumptions made about people not saying hi or feeling like people are ignoring them in that sense. So I think that that's also something to consider as well. You know, if someone doesn't say hi or someone doesn't acknowledge you, I don't think that that's people being rude. I'm saying that from a personal standpoint. Um, a lot of times I just assume that people are busy with something. If you look busy, my assumption is that you're busy, so I'm not going to interrupt you. I'm sorry if I've offended you, if I haven't said hello, but sometimes if you look like you're in the zone, I am not going to feel like I'm invading your zone by saying hi. If it was my best friend, I would probably just like tackle her with a massive hug and not really care if she was up to something or not. Sometimes I just think that the opposite can definitely be misunderstood. All right, at the end of the day, all of these questions, potential misunderstandings, a lot of them can just be avoided by a few things. Remind yourself not to overthink. I think overthinking is the number one cause in a lot of these assumptions. Sometimes self doubt is also a cause of these assumptions as well. If I think, ooh, they didn't say hi to me, maybe they don't like me. A lot of times I've learned that when you go for clarification, that is not the case whatsoever. So I think that self doubt can mess with us, overthinking can definitely mess with us. And it's hard to kind of get out of that funk. Some things I've done, again, are journaling. I've mentioned before about changing your thought to curiosity instead of being paranoid or kind of getting yourself into this like mental hole of just digging deeper into negative thoughts, things along those lines. So, again, I think like clearing the air in a sense can be a good thing to do. Ask for clarification if you're comfortable asking for it. If you feel like you're making a negative assumption, I don't know, maybe find it a little bit more lighthearted and think, oh, maybe they're hungry, maybe they're hangry, maybe something is going on in their life that has literally nothing to do with you and they are very bothered by it. Because again, remember, in a previous episode, not everyone deserves a front row seat to your life, and you shouldn't take that personal when others aren't oversharing or just sharing in general with you. So, again, I think when it comes to these assumptions, one, who in the world are you talking to? Do you know this person well enough to be making these assumptions about them? Maybe consider what situation might be going on, right? They could literally be in the middle of something that you know nothing about because it's not any of your business to know anything about it. And I don't mean that in a mean way. It's just this might not be something that really relates to you whatsoever. So if someone doesn't wave to you, try your best not to take it personal. I mean, maybe it is something that could be personal. Depends on the situation. And I think at the end of the day, it's just trying not to doubt yourself and trying to make sure that you're focused on yourself and what's going on in your life. So, next time you are wondering and you start to assume, is she talking to other guys? There are so many other things that can be on someone's mind in the moment. And again, we talked about the spotlight effect. They're probably just thinking about something going on in their own life that literally has nothing to do with you. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I am so excited you're here. Whether you've been here from the beginning or you are brand new, thank you for joining along and tuning into this podcast. Next week, I'm so excited for this. One of my best friends will be joining us. The title of her episode is DMs, Double Taps, and Dreams. We are going to be diving into one of my best friends' lives that revolves around social media, assumptions that she's dealt with. And I can't wait, first of all, for you to meet her. Second of all, for this conversation. Thank you so much for tuning in. Follow along. She's probably talking to other guys. The handle is too long for social media platforms, so you can find it at spttog podcast.